What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and if you missed the video I released yesterday or the live stream, I have early access to the 2024 Dungeon Masters Guide. It doesn't come out till early access on D&D Beyond for about another 2 weeks, and then another 2 weeks beyond that, it'll be available to the general public out in local game stores and things like that. But I went and did a general kind of overview video yesterday. It took about 40 minutes and kind of went almost like a general read through. And then I did a little, maybe 2 hours, maybe a little more live stream, just answering your questions as best as I could. One thing that came up consistently is what's going on with Bastions. How different is the Bastion system in the 2024 Dungeon Masters Guide to the Bastions we got in Unearthed Arcana? And what I can say is very minimal changes. You could probably use the 2023 Unearthed Arcana Bastions that we got and just use that exactly as it is, and you're not going to be too far off from what's in the 2024 Dungeon Masters Guide, with a few exceptions. So I'm going to go over those for you. Now, hey, if you like this kind of stuff and the other kind of content that I do here, consider subscribing to the channel. Simple little change there for you, a little click, and it does a lot for me. So what I'm going to do is show you on screen the Unearthed Arcana, because that I'm allowed to show you, and I'll just comment on what's different. As I said, most of the changes are minimal. I have them all written down here. The big one is, though, if we were to scroll down, how Bastions, gaining a Bastion, how Bastion turns work, all that is the same. Bastion Points, though, gone. There is no more Bastion Points in 2024 D&D. In the final version. So unfortunately, it does mean you will have this whole acquiring magic items bit. This is now gone. Now, don't fear, fear not. Some ability to create and craft magic items has been baked into other specific bastions. So that's not entirely gone, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. But the concept of Bastion Points is gone. It also makes taking a Bastion turn and dealing with all of that a lot easier, as you don't have to keep track of Bastion Points, which I think was probably the main focus of this, was just Bastion Points are another resource and thing that I need to keep track of and track somewhere on my character sheet. Just kind of a pain in the ass, so I think that's probably why they ditched that entirely. Now, this is all the same. Bastion facilities, the space, all the things about the maps, the basic facilities, how to expand a facility, getting the access to special facilities, all this remains the same. Hirelings, all of this. All of the orders that you can take, craft, empower, harvest, maintain, recruit, research, trade, those are all the same. It does state here in 2020, or I guess in the Unearthed Arcana, you basically need to be in your Bastion to issue anything other than the maintain order. Right? It says if a character isn't in their Bastion on a given turn, the Bastion acts as though it was issued the maintain order on the turn. 2024 does say unless you can communicate that order to your Bastion by some other means, like say a sending spell. So again, some of the types of Bastions and what you're trying to do actually physically require you to be there based on what you're trying to do. But if you are able to send a message to your hirelings in the Bastion to say, hey guys, take the empower order or whatever it might be, and you have access to long range, communication magic, then you can go ahead and do that. All right, moving on. Let's get into the actual Bastions themselves. All of this is the same. No new additions, no changes really. So for the Arcane Study, which is a level 5 Bastion, a lot of the things that would say, like, this says, like, you can cast Identify, it is now called, like, Arcane Study Charm, which basically it gives you a charm, as in a temporary magical item, that will allow you to cast Identify once within the next 7 days. This is all the same. They did add an additional thing called Craft Magic Item Arcana, and this is kind of what I was just talking about. So again, we mentioned it, but the various magic items in the Dungeon Master's Guide are split into 4 groups: Arcana, Armaments, Implements, and Relics. So that basically is Arcana's more magic-y stuff, Armaments is more weapons and armor, Implements is more kind of utility stuff, and Relics are more like divine / druidic kind of magical things. So Arcane Studies, if you are level 9 plus, you can use your Arcane Study to craft a common or uncommon magic item. You, however, need to be there to craft it in the Bastion, and you also have to cast any spells that might be cast from the magic item, right? So again, if we talked about you're trying to craft a Wand of Magic Missile, you need to be there. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. I'll just read it for you. If you're level 9 plus, you can commission the facility's hireling to craft a common or uncommon magic item chosen from the Arcana table, which is the rundown table back in the Dungeon Master's Guide. The facility has the tool required to craft the item, because remember, you do need to have tool proficiency with the associated thing. And the hireling has proficiency with Arcana as well. If the item, sorry, I misspoke. If the item allows the user to cast any spells from it, you must craft the item yourself, and you must have those spells prepared, right? So again, if I wanted to craft something like a, I don't know, let's go with like a Ring of Protection, right? That doesn't have spells cast from it, and if a Ring of Protection or maybe a Cloak of Protection, whichever one's uncommon, my hirelings can craft that for me while I'm away. But it still follows the crafting rules established in the Dungeon Master's Guide, or again, if it's a mundane item, the crafting rules in the player's handbook. So it's not like your Bastion is getting you any extra stuff, like it's not allowing you to do something else. It's just the concept of crafting it in the Bastion is that it's happening behind the scenes. You don't have to take the actual downtime yourself to do it. The Bastion's kind of working on it in the background. However, if you did want to craft a item that does allow you to cast a spell out of it, again, let's use the magic Wand of Magic Missile as an example, you're the one who has to be there crafting it because you need to prepare the spells. So that's what I meant when I wrote that down. Sorry, I wrote this in like the middle of the night. All right, Archive is the same, nothing new there. Armory is the same. Barracks is the same. All right, the Demi-Plane. Here it says, the door is large enough to allow 2 medium creatures through it unhindered, and only you and your Bastion's hirelings can open it. They just removed this restriction of how big the door is. That's about it. Oh, the big one here is this fabrication, right, where it says, while in the Demi-Plane, you can use a magic item to magically create a non-magical object. The object can be no bigger than, 5-foot cube, and then lists all these materials it can be made out of. They now limited that fabrication to be something that is only, let me see. The fabrication, I think, is cut off at 5 gold pieces. The object can be cannot have a value over 5 gold pieces. Here, it could have been basically anything as long as it fit within a 5-foot cube and was made out of wood, stone, clay, porcelain, glass, paper, non-precious crystal, or non-precious metal. That has since been adjusted to now only, be hard limited at 5 gold pieces. And they also removed this whole scry-proof thing where it can't be scried upon. That has been removed. The gaming hall, they basically deleted out this 1 to 33 for 3d6 gold pieces, and then reshifted the numbers to be 1 to 50, 51 to 85. Oh, because it's just 1 to 50 for this is now 1d6 times 10, so they removed the low end here on the gambling hall. The garden, here it used to have food. Here it says lets you make mushroom and vegetables that can be sold to earn 50 gold pieces. This now makes 100 days worth of rations instead, which I guess maybe could be sold accordingly. And then if you choose the herb, you can choose to produce 10 healer's kits or a potion of healing. For the greenhouse, the harvest options for poison, they've added different poisons here. So for the poisons here on Unearthed Arcana, it says Midnight Tears, Pale Tincture, Torpor, or Truth Serum. In the actual Dungeon Master's Guide, it is Assassin's Blood, Malice, Pale Tincture, or Truth Serum. I will do a separate video covering the poisons in the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide, so be on the lookout for that. All right. The Guild Hall, they just removed options. There is no longer an option for Cartographer, Entertainer, or Jeweler's Guild, so these 3 have all been removed from your Bastion for one reason or another. Obviously, you have the opportunity to add them back in as they're listed here, but fundamentally everything else remains the same. All right. The laboratory has, again, under craft, there's no craft potion anymore. This whole bit is totally removed. So, again, feel free to add that back in if you want. And they just kind of cleaned liquid concoction up. It basically now says anything that the crafting rules in the 2024 Player's Handbook say you can craft with alchemy supplies can be done. So, if there's anything outside of this, you could do that. For the craft poison, again, the poisons changed here in the Unearthed Arcana. It said burnt author fumes, carrion crawler mucus, essence of ether, and malice. In the final version, it is burnt author fumes, essence of ether, or torpor as your poisons that you could craft. Okay, library, nothing. Meditation chamber. Oh, because I told you they removed the concept of Bastion Points, right? So, like, where it just says order and power, not 1d8 Bastion Points. Here it says you can immediately issue a Bastion order to one of your Bastion's other special facilities, even if that facility has already been issued an order on this Bastion turn. The meditation chamber, that thing is now called Empower Inner Peace. And it says the next time you roll for a Bastion event, which happens when you take the maintain order, you roll twice and choose either result. So that's the change there. All right, for the menagerie, they just removed the no giant scorpion on the list here. Again, feel free to add that back in if you wish. Then we jump all the way down to the sacristy. Okay. Craft sacred item here has now been shifted to craft relic. If you recall what I had said earlier about the Arcane Study, where it basically said, if you're level 9, which again, the Sacristy is level 9, so you'll have that no matter what. Instead of giving you, a specific set of items that you could craft here, like Pearl of Power, Periaptive Wound Closure, and so on, it gives you it's more broad spectrum by saying, you commission the facility's hireling to craft a common or uncommon magic item chosen by you from the relics table, which again is in the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. The facility has the tool required to craft the item, and it has proficiency in Arcana. And again, similar to what we saw with the Arcane Study, if the item allows the user to cast any spells from it, you must craft the item yourself, and you must have those spells prepared. Again, the facility's hireling can help you. Oh, I should point out, some of these say that they didn't have any hirelings, right? Where they'll say like 0 hirelings for something. Everything now has at least 1 hireling, if not more so. So if it had 0, make it 1. All right. And I think that's it for the sacristy. Yeah. So again, I'm going to just refer to these in the future because we've covered them twice. I'll just refer to them as, quote, similar to the Arcane Study. And that's what I mean. Like, if you're level 9, you can choose the uncommon or common thing. And if you have to cast spells, you have to do it yourself. All right. So again, for the sacristy, that is it. Cool. Sanctuary, nothing. Scriptorium, craft paperwork here. This goes out to 50 miles of your bastion. And now, unfortunately, craft scroll used to be, written out like this. It has been changed to now only be a cleric or wizard scroll of level 3 or less, which is kind of a bummer. And it follows the rules for crafting issued in the player's handbook, right? You commission the facility's hireling to scribe a spell scroll containing a cleric or wizard spell of level 3 or lower. The facility has the necessary calligrapher's tools, and the hireling meets all prerequisites needed to scribe the scroll. The crafting equipment section in the player's handbook specifies the time needed to scribe the scroll and the cost of the scroll, which you must pay. So, again, this was nice because it could allow you to basically craft super high-level scrolls on the, just in downtime. They've obviously changed that to, I think they're trying to rein in some of the power creep. So, there's that. All right, on to the Smithy. They basically condensed everything down to just be, the Smithy can craft anything that you can craft with the Smith tools in the player's handbook. And while it was kind of cool to have this concept of making a masterwork weapon that when you cast a magic weapon on it becomes a permanently enchanted +1 weapon for martial and simple weapons. Toss all of that out. Basically, the Smithy can craft anything that you can craft with Smith's tools, and again, in a very similar way to Arcane Study, it has the exact same thing, except it's for armaments. So again, using that armament table, which I guess I can talk about at the end here. We'll go back and read what's on the uncommon list for all of those. But that's what the Smithy is. Okay. Teleportation Circle. The guest stays for 14 days. It said somewhere in here, the guest stays for 7 days. The guest now stays for 14 days. Training area. Here it said, if you get the benefit of Tools Expert, it says you gain proficiency with one musical instrument or one tool of your choice. It is now just tools. Trophy Room. Trinket Trophy is now common implements from the implements table. Again, I'll cover that when we get at the end here. So they can craft a common implement. Remember, implements more the utility items. So that's what Trinket Trophy can do. Okay, down to Workshop is the last one here. All right, so what the Workshop can do is it can craft any adventuring gear on, the adventuring gear table that you find in the player's handbook. And then it can, similar to Arcane Study, now craft any uncommon or common magic item implement. And that, again, follows the same rules. And then you still have the Source of Inspiration. That doesn't change. Unlike here, though, it does have rules for being enlarged. If you'd like to increase the size of your workshop, you can do this by making it a vast workshop by spending 2,000 gold pieces, and it gains an additional 2 hirelings and 3 additional artisan tools from this list here. All right, so that is it for that part. Now, when we talk about Fall of a Bastion, this is all pretty much the same, but they did add in a specific situation about the Ruin card from the Deck of Many Things. You would lose your Bastion if you had pulled the Ruin card as well. Looking at this table, they just changed Honored Guest to Guest, and they changed this from a D20 to a D100, and they added in Treasure as well, and the numbers have shifted around. So it's now, instead of nothing significant happens, it's called All is Well, and that's the first 50. And then there's 51 to 55 is Attack, 56 to 58 is Criminal Hireling, 59 to 63 is Extraordinary Opportunity, 64 to 72 is Friendly Visitors, 73 to 76 is a Guest, 77 to 79 is Lost Hirelings, 80 to 83 is Magical Discovery, 84 to 91 is Refugees, 92 to 98 is Request for Aid, and 99 to 100 is Treasure. I actually really like the All is Well section because they actually gave you a quirk table. So, nothing bad happens, but it could be accident reports are way down. Someone thought they saw a ghost, or, one of your hirelings adopted a stray dog. There's a little D8 table with some fun stuff in it. I like that a lot. Okay, so during an attack event, here it says remove the Bastion, you roll a 1, Bastion members dies, and it says in addition, one of the Bastion special facilities determined randomly is damaged and forced to shut down. That is changed. It is only forced to shut down if that Bastion has 0 defenders. Then, at which point you will have to shut down one of the special facilities. That's that for that. The Extraordinary Opportunity here was you gain an extra 2d4 Bastion points and spend 500 gold to host a festival. Because we've removed Bastion points entirely, if you seize the opportunity, your Bastion gains a sudden influx of recognition, prompting the DM to roll again on the Bastion events table, re-rolling if this result comes up. So you just get another Bastion event. Let's see. For guests, if you choose the mercenary option for guests, it just gives you 1 additional defender as opposed to 4. And Magical Discovery here says your hirelings accidentally discover or create an uncommon magic item of your choice. And it was also had a bunch of limitations here. Couldn't be a suit of armor, a shield, or a weapon, and its magic is only temporary. Now, none of that is true, but it is a uncommon item rather, but it is only a potion or a scroll. So unfortunately, it limits some of the other things, but rather than it being temporary, it is a permanent thing, but it is ultimately a consumable in the form of a potion or a scroll. Refugees look to be the same. Right? Request for aid is the same. And then again, we have the treasure option, which is entirely brand new, which is a D100 table. And it is 1 to 40 is rolling the 25 gold piece art objects table. 41 to 63 is rolling the 250 gold pieces art object table. 64 to 73, 750 gold pieces art objects table. 74 to 75, the 2,500 gold pieces art objects table. 76 to 90, roll on a common magic item table of your choice, Arcana implements or relic, Arcana armaments, implements, or relics. 91 to 98 is the same thing, but for uncommon magic items. And 99 to 100 is roll on the rare magic items table. And again, the Fall of the Bastion stuff, as I mentioned, was just the Ruin card. So that is basically all of the differences between what was in the Unearthed Arcana and the current final version. Again, mind you, there may be some small changes to the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide, but that's what we have currently. Now, I did promise you I would read to you the from those tables what we're looking at, and I will do that now. Let me just get to the tables. So, you know what? I think I'll just read the uncommon ones because I don't think anybody's super excited about their bastions creating common magic items. But let's see what we have. Okay, so for uncommon magic items on the Arcana table, so this is what you could craft with the Arcane Study, it is Amulet of Proof Against Detection and Location, Baba Yaga's Dancing Broom, Bag of Holding, Bag of Tricks, Brooch of Shielding, Broom of Flying, Cap of Water Breathing, Circlet of Blasting, Cloak of Protection, Cloak of the Manta Ray, Decanter of Endless Water, Deck of Illusions, Drift Globe, Dust of Disappearance, Dust of Dryness, Dust of Sneezing and Choking, Elemental Gem, Inspelled Staff with a cantrip or a level 1 spell, Ever-Smoking Bottle, Eyes of Charming, Eyes of Minute Seeing, Figurine of Wondrous Power, Silver Raven, Gem of Brightness, Hag Eye, Hat of Disguise, Headband of Intellect, Helm of Comprehend Languages, Helm of Telepathy, the Movable Rod, Lantern of Revealing, Medallion of Thoughts, Mithril Armor, Necklace of Adaptation, Oil of Slipperiness, Pearl of Power, Periapt of Health, Filter of Love, Potion of Animal Friendship, Potion of Fire Breath, Potion of Hill Giant Strength, Potion of Growth, Potion of Poison, Potion of Resistance, Potion of Water Breathing, Qual's Feather Token, Anchor, Fan, or Tree, Ring of Mind Shielding, Robe of Useful Items, Rod of the Packkeeper +1, Rope of Climbing, Saddle of the Cavalier, Sending Stones, Slippers of Spider Climbing, Spell Scroll of level 2 or 3, Staff of the Adder, Staff of the Python, Wand of Magic Detection, Wand of Magic Missiles, Wand of Secrets, Wand of the War Mage +1, Wand of Web, Winged Fan, and Winged Boots. Whew, that was the Arcana. Now, if we move on to armaments, this is a much shorter list. This is for those of you with a Smithy here. Adamantine Armor, Adamantine Weapon, +1 Ammunition, Bracers of Archery, Inspelled Armor with a cantrip or a level 1 spell, Inspelled Weapon with a cantrip or a level 1 spell, Gauntlets of Ogre Power, Javelin of Lightning, Mariner's Armor, Mithril Armor, Potion of Hill Giant Strength, Potion of Pugilism, Quiver of Alona, Saddle of the Cavalier, Sentinel Shield, Shield +1, Sword of Vengeance, Trident of Fish Command, Weapon +1, Weapon of Warning, Wraps of Unarmed Power +1. All right, on to the implements. I forget which one crafts the implements. I think I might have that here. The implements, is that the workshop? Yeah, that's the workshop. Okay. Alchemy Jug, Ammunition +1, Bag of Holding, Boots of Elvenkind, Boots of Striding and Springing, Boots of the Winterlands, Broom of Flying, Cap of Water Breathing, Cloak of Elvenkind, Cloak of Protection, Cloak of the Manta Ray, Decanter of Endless Water, Drift Globe, Dust of Disappearance, Dust of Dryness, Dust of Sneezing and Choking, Inspelled Weapon with a cantrip or level 1 spell, Eyes of Minute Seeing, Eyes of the Eagle, Gloves of Missile Snaring, Gloves of Swimming and Climbing, Gloves of Thievery, Goggles of Night, Haggai, Helm of Comprehend Languages, Immovable Rod, Instrument of the Bard, Das Lute, Faucheland, Bandor, or Mac Cittern, Lantern of Revealing, Nature's Mantle, Oil of Slipperiness, Pipes of Haunting, Pipes of the Sewers, Potion of Growth, Potion of Greater Healing. That would be such a bummer to roll that. Potion of Water Breathing, Qual's Feather Token, Anchor Fan or Tree, Ring of Jumping, Ring of Swimming, Ring of Warmth, Robe of Useful Items, Rope of Climbing, Stone of Good Luck, and Wand of Secrets. And lastly, we have the Relics, which I believe is in the Sanctuary. Nope. Sacristy. Relics is in Spelled Staff, Cantrip, or level 1 spell. The Tom's Ointment, Mariner's Armor, Nature's Mantle, Pearl of Power, Periaptive Health, Periaptive Wound Closure, Potion of Animal Friendship, Potion of Greater Healing, Potion of Resistance, Ring of Water Walking, Sending Stones, Spell Scroll of level 2 or 3, Staff of the Adder, Staff of Python, Wand of Magic Detection, and Wand of the War Mage +1. There you go. That is all of those tables. Again, I'm not going to sit there and tell you what the numbers are, but you can kind of work on figuring it out. But that gives you an idea of kind of the power level of what your bastions can craft. I do like this because I like that it's spread out, because I feel like with a lot of the way the tables used to be was a lot of the lower end magic item tables we had in 2014 were all just consumables. There are consumables on this list. It does also appear to go in alphabetical order. So consider that if you're rolling and you're like, oh, wait, I really want an adamantine armor. I really want to roll low because it starts with an A. And then again, as I said, there is an opportunity with treasure, if you roll treasure on your Bastion event, to pop a rare table roll, and then you get to pick whether that's Arcana, Armaments, Implements, or Relics. So there you go. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Hopefully this helps you get started on your journey using Bastions. Like I said, you could still obviously implement Bastion Points at your table if you wanted and just roll with the Unearthed Arcana basically as it is. I actually kind of like it, but I also understand the concept of not wanting to have another resource for the players to track. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I'll see you all next time.